Hey guys, Mr. Happy here, and today I'm going to be doing a video. It's a video that I promised I would do maybe like a month ago, back when we first got details about Dark Knight, but it's a video I'm doing now, and it's about my theories for the way that Dark Knight could be implemented into Final Fantasy XIV. Now, this is assuming that it's not the standard, starts at level 1, you do a class every 5, you do a class quest every 5 levels, unlock a new job, the job quests every 5 levels, and you start from 1 and go all the way up to, because it's going to be a Heavensward job, 60. I'm going to be looking at other possibilities, ways that the job could be different, because it seems like the details that they're giving us are specifically there to make us think it's going to be significantly different from the other class and job systems in the game currently. So as a refresher, let's just refresh the few things we know about the Dark Knight itself, other than the statements that Yoshi P has made. So first, it's going to be a tank job. It's going to have no base class, which is the biggest detail on this list. It's going to use a greatsword. It's going to make use of magic, aka the powers of darkness, whatever the heck that means. And they're also going to be sort of like a parry evasion based tank. So those are really, most of those details aren't too big. The biggest thing there is the no base class thing, because that's what's really throwing everyone for a loop. How is it going to work if it has no base class? Am I just going to get Dark Knight and start at level 1? Well, here's my theory about the Dark Knight. And those of you who play World of Warcraft, you're going to understand this immediately. I think Dark Knight, and even potentially the gun job we haven't heard about yet at the time of this video being released, I think they could be the first hero jobs. Now, again, World of Warcraft players, you know what that means immediately. For those of you who are unaware of the terminology, the hero class of World of Warcraft was the Death Knight, and the reason why it was called a hero class was because it started at level 55. The only two prerequisites were you had to at least have one level 55 character on the account, and 2, that you needed to own the expansion, Wrath of the Lich King. So that sounds very familiar to something that they could do here for the Dark Knight, and potentially the other job coming that we'll find out about next month. So what would this mean in terms of Final Fantasy XIV? Well, it means it would start at a level higher than 1. Most specifically, it could be any level, but it's at least a level higher than 1. And it would require some other prerequisite other than owning Heavensward. Now, I'm going to go into some supporting details for that, but first I want to describe some of my potential theoretical outcomes for if this were to be the case. Now, the first one that I think could be a possibility is it could require that a player have finished the main story up to 2.0's ending and unlock the job starting at level 50. Now, I know that seems like a pretty steep thing to do to start a player at 50, especially because they're going to have all those abilities leading up to it. You're basically going to be 50 with a bunch of abilities, you have no idea how any of them work, and you're expected to go into Heavenward's leveling and dungeons, having no idea how the job actually works without having been given an adequate amount of time to familiarize yourself with the mechanics of the job. I think that one is, I wouldn't rule it out, but I think level 50 might be too high of a starting point for a player that's looking to pick that up. Of course, that would also mean it requires you to at least have a level 50 job, as that is required to complete the main story for patch 2.0. So that's the first thing. The second possibility, I'm leaning towards this one a little bit more, is that it at least requires that a player have finished all of their class quests for a single other class, basically meaning you completed the level 1 through 30 quests for your initial class and would now be going on to unlock your jobs. And that would mean that the Dark Knight would start at level 30. This is actually the thing that I'm leaning towards the most, is that the Dark Knight will start at level 30. You will still have a bunch of abilities that you have to kind of figure out how they work together right off the bat, but it gives you a much longer time to learn how to use that job and how to work with it. And at that point, you've at least worked with one class up to level 30. So you may have some experiences. Odds are you leveled a tank from 1 to 30 anyway, so you're at least somewhat familiar with tanking going into unlocking Dark Knight. And it's even a possibility that it may have to be Gladiator or Marauder that you get to level 30. Maybe you have to unlock Paladin, maybe you have to unlock Warrior. I mean, the Dark Knight has always been the polar opposite of a Paladin, so maybe it has some sort of correlation. I don't think it's going to go that in depth, but this is the one I'm most likely leaning towards, and I'll go into details for that. And of course, the last possibility is that it's just like Rogue, and that the only other prerequisite is that you at least have unlocked the armory system. The only restriction being that as long as you own a Heavensward, you couldn't have just started the game as a Dark Knight. It has to be unlocked through additional means, similar to the way that Rogue is. Now, for my supporting arguments, specifically for the level 30 to 50 theories, I have just a couple of them, but I feel like they are they make sense. At the very least, they make sense. And I want to hear your feedback on these and whether or not you support or think this is a real thing. So anyway, the first supporting detail that I have is that the job is most likely going to be unlocked within or around Ishgard. I don't think it's going to be unlocked within Ishgard. The quest might start there, but the job quests and the NPC, I don't think they're going to reside in Ishgard. Just because it's a holy place, you know, it's a place where their religion and their beliefs are very, very prevalent. Having this dark, this knight that's just manipulating darkness in order to do his thing, that could either be a sign of corruption within Ishgard, if that's something that's of the norm, or it could just be somebody that they shunned out because they weren't a holy knight. They were a dark knight, you know, something like that. But regardless, I think it'll be unlocked within or around Ishgard. That would make Korthus its starting zone. Obviously, every class in the game starting zone is basically right outside the city that you unlock it in. So where would Dark Knight go when it comes to all this stuff? I think that would be perfect because that would give them a level 30 to 40 level area in order for them to start leveling. I think Korthus might see a bit of changes if that's the case, because it kind of starts at, like, you know, Costa del Sol, I think 32 is like the lowest level that you can go there, and even then there's not too many areas that you can really experience that way. It would almost have to be like 35, or they would have to tone down the levels of a couple of areas just to give you a place to sort of do some quests and start leveling up. The weird thing would be is if you didn't have any main story quests, you would, I mean, actually it wouldn't be any different, but that's one reason why I think it might be the level 31, is to make Korthus its starting zone. Wouldn't it be weird if you unlocked it in Ishgard, you got it at level 1, you had to teleport back to Thanalin or Limsa, wherever, and you have to go through one of those? That, to me, that seems kind of strange. They could also make an unlock in one of the other main cities. They could totally do that. But I think it's supposed to be an Ishgardian thing. So why would we unlock it in Thanalin unless it's an emissary from Ishgard, somebody who is exiled from Ishgard potentially? Lots of possibilities, but I'm leaning towards that supporting detail being the most likely. Now, one other thing I'd like to go over is Yoshi P made a statement that said that most players would be able to unlock it as soon as they buy Heaven's Word. Now, that could mean quite a few things. For one, it was stated at Fan Festival, so odds are Yoshi P was talking to people who are currently playing the game, who currently support the game. So the current player base could have been the only people he was addressing when he said that, making the possible condition one that almost all the players watching have met or playing have met. And level 30 is definitely a solid goal. Level 50 is one too, but level 30 is a much more, you know, a much wider spread goal that a lot of even newer players are sort of familiarizing themselves with and have absolutely passed. It would also make Heaven's Word have some sort of monetary value below level 50, which I think is actually good for the launch of an expansion, to add some things from levels 1 to 50 that are a little bit different, not to just stack on the 51 to 60 content. Now, it is also possible that he considered that people who buy Heaven's Word wouldn't potentially buy the expansion if they weren't already level 50. This would support the level 50 theory that you have to have finished the main, at least the 2.0 main story, and are trying to progress to level 60. So either of those could support the details that it's going to be a level 30 or 50 hero-based job. But, I mean, again, it could really go anywhere. I'm just spitballing here ideas. And the final thing is, this one kind of bugs me out. I feel like this might have been a mistranslation. This was in an interview not too long ago. I think it might have been an interview right after Fan Festival or between the North American and European Fan Festivals. I can't remember right now. But Yoshi P made a statement saying that for the new primals, he wants to include the new jobs. So they would be targeted as a level 60 experience. Now, I took that immediately and I was like, maybe a level 50 hero job. I mean, you specifically want the new jobs to be included in that. So you wouldn't make them below level 50. That makes perfect sense because they're expansion content. You know, you wouldn't just tack those on at the levels lower than 50. But why specifically do you want the new jobs to be a part? Does that mean they have mechanics that the new jobs are only the new jobs are going to be able to deal with here, things that that really show off the new jobs and how they're important to a party makeup. It could really mean a lot of things. That statement kind of confused the hell out of me, and like I said, it could have even been a weird translation, not even a mistranslation, just sometimes words are gained or lost when you're trying to make sense of a translation, and that could have just been, you know, what it was paraphrased into. I don't really know, and I don't really think that supports any of my theories. I think it's just a confusing statement altogether. But ultimately, these details just make me believe that Dark Knight isn't going to start at level 1. Even if you unlock, even though you probably have to level something else before you can unlock it, you won't, I doubt you'll be able to pick it right from the character select screen. I have to debate that I don't think it'll start at level 1. I just think it'll start at level 30, where most jobs are unlocked. You know, that is when a job is unlocked, and considering it has no base class, that's the perfect place to throw it in with every other job in the game. What if you just got your first class to 30, you finished all the quests, and now you want to go unlock Dark Knight? Maybe you have to have Gladiator at 30 and Marauder at 15. Who the heck knows? But the point is, I feel like it's going to start above level 1. You know, could be 10, could be 20, could be 30, could be 40, could be 50. Who the hell knows? I'm just spitballing here. Let me know what you guys think. Will Dark Knight be Final Fantasy XIV's first hero job? And do you think this could possibly apply to the gun job that we're going to be finding out about on December 21st at the Japanese Fan Festival? Let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your guys' ideas. Use guys' ideas from Jersey. There we go. And that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed me hearing my theories. If you did, be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share for more Final Fantasy XIV videos. And until next time, guys and girls, take care.